All right. Excited to have Dave and Brock Storm here. One of the things that I think surprised me the most is I can't remember who it was. It might have been Huckfeld. Don't know right off the top of my head, but they said, well, when Dave was teaching arts and crafts, and I was like, you're telling me that big guy over there is the arts and crafts teacher? And you're like, yeah. So, but art is a big part of your guys' lives. Brock's an incredible tattoo artist. If I had short sleeves on, I'd show you my tat that he's given me. We got, great artists in the family. Where did that come from? And the joy of art.
Oh, probably me. And I got it from my dad. So, art and being creative has been in our family. And, I used to think I was a pretty good artist, but the guy sitting next to me has got me passed up by a long, long shot.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know. I
that's
don't know. He's taught me everything I know. I've just kind of taken it my own direction since then. But
yeah, the
I look up
tats
to
that
him and
my
his art big time. So
yeah, my wife and I both have Brock Storm tattoos, so it's kind of cool. And we have
And we have your
kind of
sock monkeys.
yeah,
yes,
We
and,
have
and
your
kind of
sock
matching.
monkeys.
There's some, and I don't really want to get in depth in the whole thing because we don't need to make things sad. But it's kind of interesting how we're good friends. We coach against each other, but it's a friendly rivalry. But yet some of our coaching and styles and probably some of the things that happen are we maybe got into it and maybe stayed with coaching because maybe some of the crappy things in our lives that have happened, and we try to help other kids that have
Right.
crappy things in their lives happen. Um,
Yep.
I think this last, the Spencer girls team. Well, first of all, you started what 2020? What year was it that you had your 24, 25 girls on a team?
And that was back in 2000.
2000. And
2000. Yeah.
so, yeah. So, and where did we go wrong when you have that kind of momentum? When you had a duel with Gilbert,
Yep,
both of you had big teams.
we had Iowa's first all girls duel between Spencer and Gilbert. I think we had right around 13 dual matches that day, but we had other girls from other communities show up as well, and we had just a bunch of duels. But Spencer and Gilbert did the first duels against each other. So
Yeah. Pretty amazing, really. And Brock, back then, did you think my dad's crazy for coaching like all these girls? What did you think about girls wrestling at that time?
I honestly I didn't really know any different because Paige was wrestling with me the whole time when I was growing up, and I didn't think anything of it really. I didn't realize what was going on. I guess I was pretty young, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize what a big impact my dad would have on the sport down the road with
Yeah,
all
just
that.
just an incredible impact. The number of kids that you've brought through your system, and the number of kids your coaching tree is growing in female wrestling. You introduce me every once in a while. Well, this was a girl on on that team, and she's coaching now in high school. Really cool to see. Um, the friendly rivalry we have between Spencer and Ridgeview, both in the area. I really enjoy it. What are some of the things? I mean, we talk to our girls all the time. We got, that's a big duel for us to come up and wrestle Spencer or have you guys come down and wrestle Spencer. But they're always fun and they're always close and they're always it's not heated. It's just intense. But then it's always friendly afterwards. I mean, I don't
yeah,
know if either one of us have ever won both duels in a year. I think so far it's always split.
yeah, I think you're right. The one year it came down to criteria both times. You
Yeah,
won one, we won one on
yeah,
criteria both duels. But about our relationship, Troy, me and you, you had gotten hold of me and asked me to help coach at Mat of Dreams
yep.
down in Iowa City that first time, and I brought a couple of girls down there to wrestle at that. And that's where I really didn't know you. I just took our girls down there, and you put us on a team, and I helped coach, and I mean, I thought, man, this guy's got it going, and I like the direction that you were going. You've been in it more recent than I had. I was just getting back into it at that time,
Yep.
and it was fun. I'm glad that you invited me down there. We got to be friends. Like our teams, it is a friendly rivalry, and we talk it up, we hype it up, we get our girls juiced up about it. Like, hey man, we're going against Ridgeview. We're gonna have to be spot on, and it's fun. It's fun. But at the end, our girls, that for the most, I think they all get along. They hang
Yep.
out. We used to have camp together at the state tournament in the hallways down in Iowa City. Yeah, it's a fun rivalry.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories, I tell girls this all the time, especially this time of year, because we talk about locked hands. And I swear to God, it's still one of those matches that sticks out in my head. And Brock's going to remember as soon as I say this.
I already
We were at,
remember.
we
Yep.
were at Kemper, and it was Jasmine, and Jasmine's Jasmine. You guys both know her and stuff. And I think she locked hands 473 times in the match, and not one time did it get called. I'm
Yep.
even yelling to the referee, "Hey, my girl's locking hands." And Brock is just going. That's why he doesn't have any hair now. That's for
Yeah.
matches like that. But to me, that was one of the funnest. I mean, not funnest matches, but it's just one of those memories that's always going to stick out because I remember Brock going, and we're like communicating between the two of us, and just
I
having
was
a,
just kind of,
oh,
I remember looking over and being like, dude, you see it, right?
yep,
Like,
for
yeah.
sure did. For sure did. Oh my God. Yeah, we have some of those fun memories like that. But then yet, we talk about man, I've always, if I see one of your girls down, I'm always trying to bring them up, and I know you do the same for mine. So it's been really, really fun to coach against, but I don't know if it's really coaching against. It's kind of coaching, yeah. I don't know.
I think
I don't
it's
know how to go ahead.
like the night of conflict. You were coaching my girls. I was coaching your girls.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So, but Spencer has done incredible since that first IWCOA. I think you told me there's only been one time you haven't been in the top 10, right?
Right.
Otherwise, and that was
Yeah.
like 11th, right? So I mean, you've
Yep.
been
Yep.
a top 10 school for, well, we're in our fourth
5 years.
year, couple 5 years,
4 year. 4 years. Yeah. 4 years.
yeah. So just amazing. What are some of the things that you guys do in that room to set the standard?
Well, we treat the girls with respect, and we ask for respect back. We're a family. We try to be a family in there. Try to communicate as well as we can with each other. Um, you know, like I'm too old to get down on the mat and do a whole lot anymore. He's the guy on the mat. He's the guy that's wrestling with the Sutherlands, the Huckfelts, those girls. I just my body can't do it anymore, and we just try to keep our intensity level pretty high while we're in there. And I don't know. What do you think, Brock?
He pretty
I
much
mean,
said it. Yeah.
Brox, you must be a pretty hell of a technician and stuff. Some of the girls that you've coached, where are some of the? I mean, you've been in the Spencer system a long time, and I think you went to Iowa Lakes, if I remember right. Who are some of the coaches that really helped you develop?
Well, I had my dad as a coach. I had Coach Schaefer as a coach growing up. And then when I went to college, I had Ty Eustace. He was wrestled for the Hawkeyes, made a big impact on me, and Corey Van Grohl. Those were and Nick Nothern. I had those three coaches when I was wrestling at Iowa Lakes, and I learned a lot from them. And just some of the stuff, just how it goes. Wrestling evolves. You might do things for a while when you're a kid a certain way, and then you start learning better ways to do things, and then it just evolves.
Yeah,
But
we've all had to evolve because I think all of us probably started coaching boys. And what do you think some of the main differences in coaching from coaching the boys to coaching the girls?
Well, with the girls are so much more flexible than the guys. I think, guys are pretty, you can put a wing or a half on a guy and pretty good chance you could run them over. With girls, I don't know how their arms and their joints and their shoulders bend and their legs and stuff. That's a big difference for us. And I don't know, what do you think, Brock?
I've noticed with the girls, there's a lot more of explaining why on things, and not necessarily that they even need an answer, or like, you know what I mean? Like they might not know what, like, that it has to be a certain way for a reason, but you have to explain the reason all the time, and some guys you're like, hey, never get in this position, don't do this.
Uh-huh.
But the girls are like, wait a minute, I did once though, like why? Explain to me why. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of explaining why, I feel like, if that makes sense.
it does sure make sense. Yeah, because they do. There's way more questions asked, and you better be prepared to answer those questions.
Hmm.
It's like, because I said so doesn't work with them a lot of
Right.
Right.
times.
Yeah. And that's okay because they're
Right.
learning.
Yeah. Do you
And
think
sometimes,
I,
honestly, that helps. I think us as a coach, because I'm like, okay, why? Why? And then you have to really think deeper into things, and it helps bring your coaching up too when you
yeah,
have to be ready on the spot for why.
these are things that are just popping in my head right now, but it seems like girls tend to be perfectionist. I mean, you've
Hmm.
seen that. And then when they don't get something right, then they're upset. In wrestling, nothing is perfect ever,
Hmm.
you know.
Right.
So how have you been able to maybe help some girls through that whole thing? Because I struggle with it all the time. So I'm trying to steal some ideas, I guess, for some better coaches, and see if I can't figure out how to do this. I I constantly tell girls, we're not going to be perfect, but we got to get through. We have to learn the situation.
Yeah. Well, our thing is we it's a learning process. We don't care if they win or lose. Just get better. Make yourself better. Keep working hard. The wins and losses are going to come. I mean, the wins are going to come. And it's just try not to put unneeded pressure on them. Try to talk them through things. When they come off the mat, try to explain to them what they did. And sometimes it takes you gotta bring them in and watch film with them and just show them. See, here's what we were talking about. You're here. You got to do this. You need to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Does that make sense or not?
It does. It sure does. Makes sense. Another question that I struggle with, you guys have all had that boy on your team that absolutely has, you're like, I don't know how this kid wins, but he just does because he believes in himself, he's overconfident. And then we've all had those female athletes that are incredible wrestlers and they struggle to believe in themselves. How do we get girls to be confident in their abilities? It's something that has kind of really plagued me over the last 4 years. Like, why do you not see what I'm seeing in you?
Pre-match talk, brother.
Yeah, we do a little pre-match talk, and Brock's really good at that. I'll have Brock explain that.
The thoughts that go through your head before you wrestle, it is they some of those wrestlers with I'd call it like performance anxiety. They can't control the thoughts that come to their head, but they can control how they respond to those thoughts. So replacing those thoughts with, like, let's say that you're thinking about wrestling and you're like, oh, this girl's gonna do this, this, and this. Replacing that with, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
get to my Russian, and then I'm gonna go from there. And map it all out in your head, game plan it that way, versus what am I going to do when that girl does this to me? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
The other thing that we talked to our girls about at the beginning of the year, midway through the year, towards the end of the year, don't get caught up in what other people are ranked. Don't
yeah,
don't worry about that. That doesn't matter. There's we all know everything changes down at the state tournament.
Sure
People are
does.
supposed to place, people are supposed to win. They don't get all wrapped up in who's ranked this or that, or who's seated at this number one in the tournament, number two in the tournament. Just go out there and wrestle.
It's not a I have to wrestle so and so has to wrestle me.
Yeah.
If you can switch that over, good things will happen.
Yeah. You've had some incredible success. Olivia Huckfelt, I believe, one high school loss, and that high school loss happened to be again in the state championship her freshman year against a senior. Pretty amazing, pretty amazing stuff. Shaylee Sutherland. Uh, who are some of the girls that really, I mean, that you've had to put the suit on or look really nice because you're in finals night? Who are some of the girls that have just been cornerstones of the Spencer program?
Yeah, obviously Olivia Huckfelt, Shaylee Sutherland. We had Morgan Griffin for a couple of years. She was a solid wrestler. She was in the finals for us. Um, and we had like Kaylee Nightingale. She never made the finals, but she placed as a freshman.
Yeah.
Got beat out the last 3 years in the blood round. We had Reed Johnson, who just graduated for us last year. She had a good career. Um, you know, you talk about kids that are mentally tough, man. She got hurt 2 weeks before the state tournament. I've never seen anybody's knee bend backwards, and hers bent backwards, and we thought she was done.
Mhm.
And she came in the next day and she says, I don't care what it takes. She goes, I got to try. She goes, I won't be able to live with it if I don't go out there and try. And she ended up placing 8th in state last year for us. We've been. I tell people this all the time. We've just been blessed with some really tough girls here at Spencer.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, extremely tough girls and coachable, very coachable. I mean, Olivia, very coachable. Shaylee, very coachable. You know, they bought into what we were selling, and you know what? They're a product of belief in the system that we have going on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and it's definitely whatever you're doing is working. I mean, it's been some good stuff. What's it look like this year? First year of practice is over. Our first week of practice is over. You know, we got some rust out. It was. I think I talked to Dave. I think we probably talked a total of 3 or 4 hours this week already,
Right.
because you know how was the first week of practice, and who are some of those? I mean, I guess that how was the first week of practice, and what do you feel like this year is going to bring?
We had a good first week of practice. We're a young team. We have 3 seniors. We don't have any juniors. The rest are sophomores and freshmen. They're out, and but we have, what is it, four returning state qualifiers from last year, and 2 place winners from
Wow.
last year that are coming back. And we have a couple pretty scrappy little freshmen that are coming up. So, as far as filling the lineup goes, I'm not sure how that's all going to work out yet. We'll work that out this week. But yeah, the girls have practiced hard. We whatever we've asked of them, they've done. And we told them, I sent out a text tonight, said week 2 starts tomorrow. I
Yeah.
said we got to start getting after it again and get ready for next week.
Yep. I saw Brock. We were both down at Corn Cob, and you were
Yep.
watching some of your girls. It's hard to do that, not being able to. You got to
Yeah.
watch them make their mistakes, but we were able to talk a few times. They did a good job. They really did. But um, it was probably good for you to get to see that and then turn around and able to help them out now.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? What are you seeing from especially those freshmen? You got a hell of a group of freshmen in, and those coming up, or you got some studs coming up. So what's been good first week of practice with some of those young ones?
Um, breaking some of those barriers and letting go of some of youth habits
Hmm.
and taking that next step. And some of them might want to cling on to those habits, and some of them are starting to realize, hey, this guy has a point here, so I need to start trying to get this stuff figured out now. You know what I mean? So just breaking some of those habits that everybody makes a trend, youth to high school, high school to college.
Yep.
There's steps and all that, and getting those girls ready to take the step if they haven't already bought in on taking the step. So
Yeah. Wrestling in the Storm household is kind of, I mean, it's your Paige, head coach at BV, you're coaching with Brock and everything. Um, you mentioned before we got on a duel with Lennox, when Paige was coaching up in South Dakota. What was that as a dad? Let's put that from dad, not head coach. What was it like to coach that and be the dad in that situation?
It was fun. I mean, it's you're going against your own daughter, for
Uh-huh.
one. So it was Brock and I against Paige and her husband Carlos, who was her assistant coach
Uh-huh.
there. It was fun. I mean, we wished them the best, and our family's pretty competitive, so obviously we didn't want to
yeah.
lose, and they didn't want to lose, but it was cool. It was really neat, something special. Yeah, I don't know how many dads get to coach against their kids,
Yeah,
let alone a sport like wrestling, coach against your own daughter.
probably not a
So
lot.
yeah.
Probably not a lot. Pretty cool. Um, well, if we talk about that, you know, I was a teenage boy at one point in time. Brock was a teenage boy at one point in time, and you were dad and coach and stuff. How has the relationship changed from uh, teenage Brock to coaching Brock now? How have things, because you guys work super well together and you can tell you're super close. But how has all of that evolved?
You want to go first?
Go ahead.
Well, I love watching him coach and coaching with him. He's a natural. He's really good at what he does, and it's been fun for me as a dad to watch him grow, uh, grow up, and then grow in the coaching field. Like I said, he's our technician guy. He's showing all the stuff on the mat. You know, he I love coaching with him. It's made it a whole lot of fun for me.
Mhm.
But I'm not so
How
sure he'll
is
have the same story.
how is how is how was having because I've had that situation. I my kids didn't wrestle, but like Jason Shepard's daughter, every once in a while there was times when Jason's like, you got to go handle her because I can't. And I'm sure that she was the same way. I can't handle dad right now. How was that for you, Brock? Growing up having dad and coach, that's tough because you don't get away.
Yeah. It's been a shock to me, honestly, to see he was a lot different with me than he is with the girls now. It's almost like we've kind of traded roles in a way. Like, I don't know if there's a good cop, bad cop, you know what I mean? Like
Yep,
it's
yep.
we kind
And
of I've taken the old Dave's role, and he's a lot easier on the girls than he was on me. I'll tell you that. But I think it's awesome to see, and I'm just following his footsteps, and I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun. I love coach. I wouldn't want to coach with anybody else. I can tell you
yeah.
that right now.
So
But
so you're saying Dave's become a big teddy bear, is what you're
yeah, pretty
saying.
much. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I can see it. I definitely could see it. One of the things that, man, this is something that my dad said to me and my brother, who also was a coach. So my dad didn't coach, but he never got to play athletics, so it was really important for him to have my brother and I play sports, and he was really proud that we were coaches. But he talked about legacy, and he wanted to make sure that we were that what he had taught us was carried on. And obviously, as Dave and I are, kind of getting, they keep giving us awards, Dave. And I mean, you've said it before, when they start giving you awards, they want you out. They're
Right.
like, hey, you've been here long enough. Go do something else. Um, but what's something that you're gonna take from, as Brock, what are you taking from Dave? And then when it's all said and done, what do you want those girls to take from this experience of being on the mat? Because we know as high school coaches, very few of them are going on, right? So we're preparing them to be the best whoever they are after, and we only get 4 years with them. So what is something you've taken? What is something you've taken from your dad, and what's something you guys both hope that the girls take on?
I think I learned a lot from him. I learned that I can handle a lot more than I think I can handle. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I can get through a lot tougher situations than at the moment that I thought I could get through. Um, and that's what anything I want our girls to leave knowing they can, if they believe in anything, they can do it. They just have to believe in themselves to get through whatever situation it may be. And they can handle a lot more than they think they can handle in life, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
It sure as heck does.
They're a lot tougher than they think
Yeah,
they are.
exactly.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Just gotta believe in yourself,
Yep.
and like you said, sometimes that's hard to get them to do that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
once they do it, once you see them turn that corner, you know, the whole thing that
Everything
not
changes.
everything changes, not just wrestling, but everything in life changes.
Yeah.
So,
And you guys gotta started something new this year, and it's probably pretty cool because it's kind of your next your girl Shaylee, is back in town and um, running your youth girls club. Uh, why don't you plug the club first of all? So if anybody's listening, they're like, oh shoot, I should just drive up to Spencer and go to the girls club because it's all girls and they got a great coach. But what's it like to see? And then what's it like to see Shaylee, you know, take that role?
well, the past couple of years, we've talked about getting a girls' club going because I think it's really important that the girls have their own identity. It's not just a wrestling club that they go to; it's a girls' wrestling club. We need to start with that, building that sisterhood, that family with those girls at down low from kindergarten through eighth grade before they get into high school, so that they know what it's like to compete as a team and go
Hmm.
and start being a family. So the parents get to know each other. They go to tournaments together. Now there's girls tournaments everywhere.
Yep.
You can find a girls tournament every week. I'll bet every weekend in the area. So and getting those girls to sign up under Spencer Girls Wrestling Club, and show strength and, start cheering for each other when they're out there on the mat and stuff like that. I just, it was a big thing for when we had our club back in the 2000s. When we go to tournaments and stuff, our girls would sit by the side of the mat, scream and holler for each other. It was a big thing. And the girls and some of the moms remember that were on those teams. They're like, we need to
Yeah.
do that. We need to get one going again. And so we got our act together this year and just said, we're going to do it. And then after we said we were going to do it, I'm like going, oh man, we got to find a coach because I'm not sure if I can do that high school and the youth one. But and then Shaylee was here in town, going to Iowa Lakes, doing classes here in Spencer. Called her up and said, hey, you'd be interested in something like this? And she go, absolutely. And so we had our first couple practices last week, went in there, helped her out and helping her along a little bit. And she'll do a great job for us. The kids love her, and she asked last time, she goes, so do we have to like be done at 7:30? She goes, can I like stick around and wrestle with some of these older girls? I said, yeah. I said, you don't have to be done at 7:30. I said, get them on the mat, start showing them stuff. So we're super excited to have her.
Yeah, great girl to have running your club. That's
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't have much better. And then you've had uh, um, Ruiz came back last year and coached your middle school girls too, didn't she? Is that or was
yeah,
that the
yeah.
year before?
Crystal
Crystal.
Luna. Yep,
Oh,
yep.
Luna. Yeah, that's
She,
right.
yep. She coached our middle school girls 2 years ago. Then she went back to college, and she's moving back in December, and she's going to volunteer and help us
Oh
in the
my
high
gosh,
school room.
that's
So
awesome. It's awesome
we're
to kind of
excited.
start seeing them come back and start doing
Yeah,
that for
yeah,
you.
yeah. And
It's gotta be pretty
one
cool.
other cool thing, so one of the girls that wrestled on my 2000 team from 2000 to 2003, she's got back into the wrestling program. She is helping with our youth club, not the girls club, but our youth club. She's coaching the K through twos at the youth level, which is it's fun to see her back in the room doing that too.
That's awesome. That is really cool. I think I have my wrestling questions for the most part done, but we're gonna let everybody get to know you guys just a little bit better. And what better place to start with wrestlers than foods? Guilty pleasure foods. I'm an ice cream guy. Brock, what's your one thing that killed you when it was time to cut weight?
Ooh, pizza and fluids. I like the fluid, you know what I mean? My
Yeah,
mouth gets dry right away, so I always want to drink, but then realize that, it's easy to put on a lot of immediate weight when you're pounding bottles of water, you
yeah.
know.
What's your favorite pizza?
Ooh, I like taco pizza or jalapeno popper pizza lately has been,
Oh,
yeah,
so
they need to
we're
quit
you're
making
going
it so I can lose some weight. But
you're hitting Casey's then for sure, right?
yeah, yep.
Yeah, so I heard this the other day that, and I think I think it's fact that Iowa consumes more pizza per capita than any other state in the country. And I blame
Ooh,
Casey's. I blame
it is
Casey's.
Casey's fault for sure.
How about you, Dave? What's that guilty pleasure food?
Smoked Cheez-Its and jelly beans.
Ooh,
Yeah,
two things that are
different combination there, but
different
I like
combo,
I
but
like smoking my food.
yeah. So if I were coming up to Spencer, what's the best place to go out to and eat? Where, I mean, and maybe we got two different answers here.
Well, after the flood, I don't know.
Uh, well, Monterey's is always good. The Mexican restaurant, and
Oh, the grocery store.
yeah, yeah, it's an
I
authentic.
think it's La Morienta.
Yeah, it's really good, and
Or La
they big
Morenita.
servings.
La Morenita. Bailey, what is it? La Morenita? La Morenita. Super good.
Yeah.
So if we get to go on a vacation, what's the dream vacation spot, the bucket list place that you want to go to?
Well, I think I've been there. Um, Went to St. Martin last March
Oh,
and
nice.
for a week, and we're going there again this year, the weekend after the state tournament.
Oh,
So yeah, I
that's
love the
that re
sand, I love the sun, uh, the water. It's beautiful there.
that's that retired life hitting, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Brock and I had a number of years left, and then Brock, it's not even on the radar yet. So,
No,
where do you think? What's your dream vacation?
I don't know, really. I'd like to check out Puerto Rico and just anywhere, really. Anywhere with sun and a beach.
Sun and a beach. Seems like there's
Yep.
two people in this world. There's the sun and beach people, and then there's the mountain people. And I still
Yeah.
don't understand. We live in the cold. I don't want to go anywhere where I need to wear a jacket.
Right.
So, especially as I've gotten older, I sit and watch TV or binge movies or watch movies or binge TV quite a bit more. Is there a program that you guys are watching?
I watch whatever my wife is watching. I don't have much of a
Yeah.
choice.
You don't get the controller at all?
No, no.
No. How about you, Brock? Anything that
Pretty
you've been
much the
watching lately?
same. Pretty much the same, but we watched Mayor of Kingstown. I thought that was pretty action packed. It's pretty good. There's always some drama going on in it.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm looking for a new one. I know Landman season 2 is coming back on
Yep.
here shortly. That's a good show. Um, Favorite wrestling shoe of all time?
ASIC P2s,
Basic P2s.
the
Um,
camo ones.
I don't really have a favorite shoe. I'm usually looking in the lost and found box for some.
Trying to find something that'll fit.
Right.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
nah, shit, the shoe thing, I'm not all wrapped up into that. I'll wear my Chuck Taylors if I have to on the mat.
Nice. Um, Coaching careers they're kind of it's interesting. I mean I look back on how crappy a coach I was when I first started is and I don't know how much better I am now, but I can see the evolution and there's something that happens at some point in time. Can you think of something that really impacted you that you said, especially with girls wrestling, man, it's like uh, why do we do this? Why is it so important to us to coach girls wrestling?
Well, the impact that coaching had on me is when I took my daughter out to the first USGWA tournament. She was in fourth grade out in Detroit, Michigan. And I didn't know what we were signing up for. I just knew that there was a girls' tournament going on out there at that time. And I told my wife, I said, "Hey, she's wrestling boys all the time. Let's give her a shot going to some girls' tournament." When I went out there and I can't remember, there was between probably 700 and 800 girls that were there at this tournament, and it just blew me away. I'm like going, "Holy cow, this thing is huge," And I got it totally changed me and my thought on girls wrestling because it was like, you know, we've all seen the girls. Now there's some very talented girls out there that can hang with the guys. But that was my first time seeing girls actually wrestle girls and how much more competitive it was. And it's just, they weren't going out there and getting picked up, thrown down and pinned, and they were actually able to wrestle with one another. And it changed my whole thought process on everything. I was just like, wow, I wish everyone could witness this right now, what I'm watching, because
Mm-hmm.
it blew me away. I'm like, if this is what wrestling should be right here. I mean, they had Canadian women down there at that time. The Canadians had collegiate wrestling for
Yeah.
girls, and so I got to watch some of the Canadian women wrestle and stuff like that, and it was an eye opener for sure for me, and it changed. It did change me. It changed the way I thought in my career in coaching.
How about you, Brock? And anything in the coaching career that you can think that's like, man, this is I don't know. I don't even know how to ask the question because it's, what's impacted you about coaching girls?
I'm still learning a lot, and I'm by no means perfect or a good coach. But I learn things every day. I'm evolving with the sport, and every girl I'm learning. Every girl you have to approach different. Every girl has a different approach. There's not one. There's not like a fix all. Like one way you can approach everybody. Really, you kind of got to approach everybody different, and some girls are more emotional than the other girls, and some of them you can just kind of say it how it is, and I'm learning all that. So
Yeah. I talked to some girls tonight before we talked, and one of their statements was, uh, they were happy to be in a college environment. Most of their high schools, they didn't have maybe a dedicated coach for the girls. They really enjoy just being heard and
Mhm.
belonging in the room. And I know that you guys do a really good job of making sure that those girls belong and that they're heard. Um, let's talk about the coin flip. You know, my philosophies have changed over the years on girls wrestling. Or I would have told you 10 years ago, we're picking down. I don't pick down that much anymore. What's your guys' philosophy on the coin flip?
Go for
It depends on who it is on the mat. We're gonna go to what they're best at, and what we have a couple girls that they can turn anybody in the state with a wing. We have a couple girls that they can get out from underneath anybody, which is
Uh-huh.
another huge thing. Uh, and we have a couple girls that can take about anybody down in the state. So it just really depends on who it is on the mat. I would like to put them all down, but some of them don't like being down,
Yeah.
so we just
I think I learned in a
depends.
hurry that sometimes I put somebody down and I just lost the match for them, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
You know. So, yeah, that's definitely changed my philosophy and maybe that girls wrestling we're not as rigid as we used to be, you know. Maybe there's
Mhm.
there's there's room to expand. Let's talk about like my go-to takedown, not necessarily the only thing I show, but was fireman's carry. What's some of the go-tos you guys hit in the room for the girls on takedowns? We'll start takedowns.
No, we've really focused a lot on hand fighting
Yeah.
this summer. And so our focus is on hand fighting and how to create angles on people.
Hmm.
For your shot, not just shooting straight in on them. You know, uh, but I don't know if we really have a go-to. With our bigger girls, it's more of an outside game. Trying to
Yeah,
don't get caught underneath. You
yeah.
know,
I
and
think
our
you said
smaller.
something. I noticed last year. I can't remember if it was the second or third meet. I was watching. Might have been down in Fort Dodge when we were wrestling some teams that are definitely better than us, like maybe Cedar Falls. And I watched our shots, and it looked like we were doing technique like I just did in the room, and we were standing right in front of somebody and took shot in without setting anything up. Nobody moved anywhere, and I said, "Man, that's on me." Because that's how I'm teaching technique. So that's something like you guys said, move a hand fight, creating that angle. Really tried to change that myself. Trying to find, wow, we can't stand in front of somebody and dive in and think we're going to be successful.
Right. And kind of going off that a little bit, you know, we we really stress to our girls about being a good practice partner. you
Hmm.
know, Real life situation, somebody's just not going to be standing there flat footed,
Yeah.
and let you take them down. You got to get in a good, it's got to be in a good, you got to be in a good stance, whether you're
Yeah.
taking the person down or getting taken down in the drill or the live situation. It's
Or the
we
noodle arm. The
Yes, yes. If they take you down, you just don't fall to your butt and go straight to your back. We've never taught that technique, so we're not going to do it. You know,
yeah. No,
but
that's
yeah, just I don't know.
you
Yeah,
talked about. Go ahead. I don't want to. I didn't want to
just
interrupt you there.
just being good practice partners and trying to, you know,
Drillings for both people, not just
yeah,
for one person,
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We kind of discussed briefly that the bottom position is not always the best spot for some girls. I think I improved on it last year. We went with a lot of quad pod stand ups and things like that, just to so we weren't our weight wasn't on our face, I guess. you know.
right.
But what have you had some success with if somebody's like, man, I don't know what to teach these girls on the bottom. What's something that you've had success with?
Well, we're working on some knee slides, the quad, the short sit,
hand
hip
fighting.
hand fighting from underneath type stuff. You know, trying to regain wrist control, you know, when you're on the bottom and they're reaching across, grabbing wrists and, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And, you know, building a good base. And I don't know, what else?
So some of that stuff we like to keep, we like to keep secret, but
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. I understand. Yeah, no, I get it. I get you. I think I just, it's just one of those things that, man, there's every coach I talk to, that bottom position has kind of been the struggle,
yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, like I
No,
said,
and
I
I
found
don't.
some, we found some success with quad pods last year. Now this year might turn around and that's not successful for us, I don't know. Guess we'll have
And
to see.
watching guys wrestle too. I wouldn't say it's just girls, it's guys too
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
struggle
yeah,
getting out from underneath,
yeah.
you know. There's so now that I don't know, you don't have to put this on there, but I think there's just so much emphasis put on your feet,
Yep.
you know, that if you're really good on your feet, you're just going to take people down and let them up, take them down, let them up. They don't have to work to get out from underneath to get beat,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and then what about the rule change? We haven't even talked about it. I kind of forgot about, 3-point takedown. You can get up to 4-point near falls, 1-point
Yeah,
escape. Where's our emphasis going to be? Where do you score points?
right,
So
right.
what's your thoughts on the 3-point takedown, the more for near falls?
I wasn't too sure about it at first, but I think it's
I
it,
like it when it works in our favor, you know.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Have you looked up at the score and gone, holy crap, how am I down that far already?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's pretty, I mean, when you can take somebody down, pick up those 4 back points, and you look up and you're like, wow, we're like almost halfway to a tech fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty wild. Um, I wish that they would bring it back to bottom wrestling a little bit more and just do like the first point of of every period, first takedown of every period would be 3 points, then it goes back to regular or whatever,
Oh,
just
yeah.
to kind of, or your reversals are worth whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know, just to bring bottom back into it because it feels like they're kind of phasing away from the bottom. But and that's where I personally, as a wrestler, I like to be on the mat. But
Uh,
yeah, if they just did like the first takedown of every period or whatever, what was 3 points, I think that would be
yeah.
awesome just to
Then
kind
it
of
would
slow it
then
down.
getting that first take increased action because that's
Right.
what we're looking for, right? Yeah,
Yep.
that's not a bad. That's actually pretty good. It's a good thought. Really is a good thought. Of course, I don't know. I'm not going to crack on referees because I know they have a really tough job, but that might be hard for them to keep
Yeah,
track of
keep
what's
track
going
of
on.
for sure.
Just one more thing for me to complain about in the corner.
Yeah.
Um, Freestyle or folk style?
I'm a
Folk
folk
style.
style.
Folk
Yeah.
style all the way.
Brock, I'm sure you wrestled more freestyle than I ever did, and probably more than Dave ever did. Do you think it's as hard a transition as people like to say?
I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it because I ride legs and I like to be on the mat and not I was decent enough on my feet to keep people away from scoring, but I'm not a freak on my feet, but I
Uh,
do like wrestling on the mat. So that was hard for me. Um, my sister was better at freestyle than I was, but I did it because I had to, pretty much. I don't know.
yeah,
But I don't
I
know
just,
about the transition. I mean, I'm assuming for a guy like me, it would be hard,
yeah,
because I'm just not all. There's three positions in wrestling and not just one,
yeah.
So
Well, I'm sure you've talked to Paige, Dave. She's probably expressed to you probably frustration sometimes when, God dang these girls. What's her thoughts? Do we need to look more into modified maybe? Because I don't ever think you're gonna see Iowa go to freestyle, or at least not right away, just because there's a lot of reasons behind it. Some of it's safety, some of it's,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Paige, she likes the freestyle, you know.
yep,
She probably why she likes freestyle more is because that's what she wrestled girls in
yep,
more. was freestyle than actually folk style. So, yeah, I think a modified would be okay, but I don't know. I'm more of I guess I wish there was more, maybe I don't know that much about it, but I wish there was more options for girls so that maybe if they did want to do a career in folk style, they could go to college and wrestle folk style.
Yeah. It's kind of it's a really tough question because honestly, there's more people that go attend folk style meets than freestyle meets ever. I mean,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
summertime you go watch a freestyle meet and it's like this is kind of there's nobody here, you know,
Right.
and they're not filling stadiums to watch freestyle for some reason. Don't know why. And that's internationally because I know that I've met some people that have come over here and we're just amazed how many people go to a college meet here. And we're not even talking large college meets, just even like a BV meet. Wow, you have all these people watching watching wrestling. So I don't know the answer to that. I'll probably get in trouble for saying we should do folk style too. But Brock, you've either been yelled at by your dad or sat next to him long enough that there's probably a couple phrases that he uses as a coach that you've heard over and over and over again. Can you think of one of those?
Oh, yeah, we wrote
That
it down.
that
Let me
are
look.
that are PG?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Um, you practice how you compete.
Yep.
He stresses that a lot. I mean, you can't practice soft and then compete hard. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people think you can,
yeah, yep.
or they're
There's
amazed
no
when
easy
they.
way. There's no
Yeah.
easy way around wrestling,
No,
No.
you
there's
know.
not. Definitely is
And
not.
and I think, instilling that with your girls, just it's hard. It's hard work, and that's okay. You know,
Fall
we,
in love with the grind.
yeah,
Yeah.
and enjoy the grind.
That process is more important than that medal.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So, um, start with Dave on this one. Wrestling has taught me to blank. Since you're a teacher, you're used to these hard questions, these
Uh,
fill in the blanks.
well, I think wrestling's taught me patience, you know, patience with myself when I was a kid, trying to figure it out, patience with my own kids as they were trying to figure it out, taking around to meets and tournaments, patience again with the girls that we're coaching now. You know, and it's, I don't know, like with these girls, I think it's about their journey. So, it's taught me, hey, this is your journey, and I'm patient with them, be happy and enjoy what you're doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, you know, I don't know. I don't even know if that
That's
made
good.
sense.
It
I think
sure
so.
does. No, it sure does to me. How about you, Brock? What's wrestling taught you?
Um, it's taught me patience as well. It's taught me not to win isn't always like just getting your hand raised isn't always the win. I've watched some of our girls go out and wrestle matches and they'll be upset because at the end of the match, maybe they didn't get the win. But to me, I've seen things that we can fix that will lead to a lot more of getting our hand raised. That there is the win, like
Uh-huh.
they expose maybe expose some of their flaws that in the match that we really needed to see for like the future, and then we can fix those. Those are really important things once you get to a higher level or whatever. We can fix those. I don't know. Patience is huge, though. I've learned to be patient. Um, yeah.
Some days it's not easy to be patient on our side of the
No.
our side of the whistle. Definitely is not. Um, I'm not talking about the organization, but wrestle like a girl. What does that mean to you guys in the Spencer girls team? What is wrestling like a girl? I mean, when years and years and years ago, it would have been a very derogatory statement, but it's not anymore.
Yeah, it's be proud of what you're doing. You're a wrestler. You're a girl, but you're a wrestler. Be proud of that. You know, you got a lot of little girls looking up at you, you know, so take pride in wrestling like a girl. It's not it's, you're right, Troy. A few years ago, that would have been looked at as like maybe a put down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's not now. They've proven themselves. They can do it, you know, and take pride that you're a girl and you're a wrestler.
I'm
How about
with
you, Brock?
him. I'm with him
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. I think, was it you, Dave? It might have been you, Dave, that either said that to me or shared something with me. Uh, I think it's 18% of the wrestlers. So 20, we'll round up to 20. 20% of all the wrestlers in the country are female now, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
that
That's a
that
crazy number. And it's not that we're not done growing. We haven't reached our ceiling. It could be 50-50 at some point in time.
and you know what, Troy? I think the other night when we were talking a little bit about that, I said I wonder how much Iowa has raised that percentage because of
Oh,
the growth that we've had here in the
yeah.
last 5 years.
I can't remember if we are three or four. I know we're behind California and Texas, but I mean you're looking at huge populations. And I
Right.
think the other we might be behind Washington State also in numbers. But we had almost 3,500 girls wrestling last year and probably approach 4,000 this year. That's
Yeah.
amazing for our size of state. It's crazy. Crazy to
Yeah.
see that. You guys get a
Yeah.
host you guys get a host a regional this year.
Yeah. We got a regional in Spencer. That'll be exciting.
That will be exciting.
You know, yeah, I think it's big stuff, you know, and our girls are, you know, we've talked a little bit about it, and you know, I said that's having a home mat advantage
Yeah,
can be big.
it can be big. Probably also there you might also have more people sitting in the stands too. I mean, so I guess it's how you look at it. But boy, I'd sure like to be able to my own bed until I don't have to get up two
Yeah,
hours
that's
earlier.
huge.
Or well, I
Yeah,
guess we're
yeah,
at school. I guess we don't do it in the morning anymore. But it's in you don't travel. You get it. You're used to what's going on. That'll be pretty cool. When we talk about that though, the level of girls wrestling in the state of Iowa the last 4 years through the roof.
Yeah, it's gone up.
it gets better and better every
Yeah.
year, you know. And again, I think it goes back to girls wrestling girls. You know, they can do the techniques on each other to where, you know,
They can just get out muscled and shut
back
down.
in the,
Yep.
you know, the day when the pioneer girls were having to wrestle boys like Paige and stuff, they just would get out muscled, you
Hmm.
know, and they were probably more defensive back then, you know,
Yeah,
because
you weren't going to shoot underneath a guy because you
no,
were gonna.
no,
No,
no.
I have.
And you know, and those were the techniques that we were showing the girls back then. You know, I was showing my daughter back then, you know, hey, you know, we can't get caught underneath, you know. We got to
Yeah.
do other stuff. We want to get on top. If we're on top, we're okay. You
Hmm.
know, we can hang with a lot of people from being on top, but yeah, you know, seeing how much the technique has gotten better is it's amazing. It's fun to watch. It's
Yeah.
exciting. It is.
Yeah.
It's super
I don't.
exciting.
I don't know how much you've watched of the youth, but I know like Brock down at Corn Cob, some of those youth girls that are like third, fourth grade. I can't wrestle like that. What's
Right.
your thoughts on the rising level of the girls wrestling and I mean you even have some of those girls that are coming in as AAU state champs. The level that they're at compared to 4 years ago when we were kind of first starting this uh, thing.
I enjoy it. I like getting into some of like, they start getting into scramble stuff. They
Yeah.
have all their bases down. Then we get into like, hey, when we scramble, high head winds and stuff like that, and starting to explain some of that and help some of them through some of that kind of rest. I love that type of stuff. I love the funky scrambles and stuff like that. It keeps it interesting for me. So I'm really looking forward because we have some girls that can do that stuff,
Yeah, you do.
So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to working with them on all that stuff. So
Yeah.
It's
No,
yeah,
I'm
it's
definitely
awesome.
looking forward to the year and watching, one of those things I've talked to people about. It's really sometimes it's hard to be maybe in your position, Dave, in my position, even Brock, we know so many of these girls and we've maybe helped out a lot of different girls, and sometimes it's hard to watch. Of course, we're always going to cheer our team on and be the thing, but to watch some of your girls, it means as much as me to see them win, and not just your girls. There's girls across the state that it's like, man, I almost feel for them when there's a loss. So
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. Look, it goes back to it's a family, whether the wrestling is a huge family, whether it's your own town, other people's towns, you become close to those girls, those parents, like Ridgeview and Spencer. I love your girls, Troy, and I
yeah,
know you love mine. And I think the world of your girls. And, down at the state tournament, I see them, or at a tournament, and they win a big match. I'll be one of the first ones to go congratulate them,
yeah,
and that's any girl that I have a relate or wrestler, not just a girl, a wrestler that I have a relationship with. I'm not too proud to go over there and say good match, even if they beat our girl,
yeah,
Mhm.
or our wrestler,
yeah.
encourage them.
Last question before final thoughts, and this is just because we're getting old, Dave, and Brock's been through the transition, uh, social media and sports and stuff. You kind of came up in that, didn't you? I mean, did you have, was there any social media when you were wrestling?
Me,
Yes.
um,
Or
Facebook was
not,
super new. We didn't have like track or flow or anything, which was nice. And I don't know how I feel about it. I try to tell our girls to stay away from it. Um, a lot of my college buddies would say that they're like, you're crazy. You just go out there. You didn't even care who you had. You didn't
yeah,
know their name. You just go out there and wrestle. And I think that's the way that you got to do it. The minute
yep.
you start creeping somebody's track or flow profile, start watching videos on them and getting your own head about, oh, this girl, she really beat on this other, you're seeing, you don't know how good that other girl was that she whooped on, I mean, you're psyching yourself out, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I
So
look back
and
at when,
last year, I won't say any names on who it was, but we had a girl that got on Facebook and read down at the state tournament. There was predictions. This girl's supposed to beat this girl. This girl's supposed to beat this girl, and then
yeah,
she was caught up in that. And now I'm like, okay, that's like a disservice to these girl wrestlers. I think they should just let it pan out, and then they could have their whatever afterwards. Talk about that afterwards. But when you're putting that out there, clearly they're going to see it. It's going to
yeah,
take a mental effect on them. But I try to steer. We're trying to get our girls not to look into any of that stuff because it doesn't matter. It's
yeah.
you still got to show up. You still got to wrestle. You know. But
I mean, when Dave and I were wrestling, I mean, I there's kids like Denison. I'm from Denison, Carroll. I barely, I knew some of them, but man, that was 30 miles away. Hell, now they know everybody across the state.
mhm.
They know
Yep.
exactly who everybody is, and half the time they're friends with them, which I think to me, that's the cool part about it. But what you were saying that they can see rankings and they can see who's predicted to win this match. That kind of hurts, but it is kind of cool to see that they all know each other too. So
Yeah.
good and bad. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity just to have some final thoughts on, you know, hey, whatever. It could be what's coming up in the season or what you've seen so far as coaches. I don't care, whatever it is.
Well, one of the things, Troy, I want to thank you for all that you do for the sport of wrestling, for girls wrestling here in Iowa, man, with your podcasts. Heavily involved with the AAU, things like that, and all the things that you've done around the state. I mean, it's huge, and you don't get enough thanks for that. And I know that you're not in it for the thanks, but thank you.
I appreciate that.
It means a lot to me as a coach and your friend, everything that you're doing for the sport and for these girls. One of my other thoughts, and I'm just going to throw this out there, is that, you know what? our state needs to be looking at something. If your school can support a boys team, your school can support a girls team. That will make the sport grow even more, you know.
Yep.
So, obviously you have a wrestling mat somewhere in the school. If you have a boys team, the girls can use it too. And we just got to keep pushing to grow the sport and keeping, giving girls more opportunities, more opportunities, and more opportunities to continue to keep wrestling. And I honestly think, I don't know if I'll live to see it, but I think someday our girls state tournament will be down in Des Moines and it will be filling up the arena just like the boys do.
Oh, I think girls travel better anyway. So I mean, if we get if we end up having the numbers to have three classes, and it could get huge. And you're
Yeah.
right. You, I think, are 100% right. And I see that even, I understand why we started with co-ops, and just some don't make sense anymore, you know.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm going to say, I can say even mine included doesn't make sense all the time. And I think there's opportunity. I think there's missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
How about
Um,
you, Brock? Any
I'm,
crazy final thoughts?
all my thoughts are crazy, but I'm on the same page as him with that. There's a lot of, you think a school has 5, 6 schools involved. You only
there's only
how many
four.
how many girls are missing out on being
Yep.
varsity in those 5 or 6 schools, if they were to be representing their own school instead of it's more like a club, really. When
Yep.
you start getting it that big, it's like a wrestling club. We don't have that option over here in
Nope.
Northwest Iowa. We just can't reach out to all of these surround, we don't have that option. So I feel like if we can do it, some of those other bigger schools could probably could do it, but
For sure.
that's just that's just the way I think about it. I don't know.
No, yeah,
And
no, I don't think you're alone in your thought on that at all.
and I don't look at it as the competitive part of it. I mean, yeah, there's obviously some advantages, but the more our family looks at it is there's so many more girls that could have that opportunity to wrestle
Yep.
if they
Yep.
wrestle for their own school and not a big co-op. Troy, when you did yours at first, you were doing the right thing. You took all them small schools in, and now I think it's just crazy to,
Yeah, when especially like I've talked to you about it, man, next year's middle school class is huge. And that's where I've said that's probably the end of it, because somebody's kid's not going to have the opportunity, and that's when those things stop, right?
yeah,
Because if I have two or three really equal people at 100, and we'll just throw it away, 115, and this one's from this three different schools, someone's going to, wait, why are we here? Or you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I truly believe that's going to be the change of it is probably coming very soon.
yeah.
And
I,
some of
I
those
have,
other ones, I
uh,
think, I think parents are the ones that have to, I think parents initiate that change because administrators won't.
Yeah.
right. I think you're absolutely right.
So
More the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
sure. Yep. You guys have figured that out. What we say to administrators doesn't matter very much at all. They'll tell us we're wrong. And then when
Right.
parents start saying the same things, then all of a sudden, we got to get this done. Why haven't you been doing this? What?
Yeah.
You know, but no, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'm excited for the season. I'm excited to come up to Spencer for the first meet. I'm going to try to see. Actually, this won't be out before the first meet. I might just have to flip some stuff around. I don't know. Because I got a few ahead of you, but that's all right. It'll be close enough. But no, I appreciate you guys coming on. I enjoy coaching against you. I get kind of coaching
Yeah.
with you too.
Well,
So no,
I
I,
enjoy. I just again, Troy. Honestly, I can't thank you enough for all that you do for the sport. It's I wish, I wish I was 20 years younger and I could help you more than what I am right now.
well,
Or I'm not helping you right now, but I mean, I wish I
I'm
could.
catching. I'm catching up more with you, Dave, than I am Brock. So, we need more Brocks. We need more young ones. We need Shayleys. That's what we need.
Yeah,
Yes.
Is more
yes, we need,
Shayleys and,
you know,
and more
and
Shayleys.
and the thing is like, and I've told you before too, and Brock and I had talked about this, and I've told Shaylee this, and I've told Olivia this as well. I said my ultimate dream would be for one of you girls to come back here
Yep.
and take over this program. That
Yep.
would be, that would mean the world to me. And then I could volunteer, I could help you out that first year or two, and then you're on your own,
Yeah.
you
That's,
know?
I've said the same exact thing. I'm crossing fingers for those days.
Yeah,
That would really excite me. I gotta figure out a new tattoo idea in my head. I gotta come up and get a new tattoo too. So,
Absolutely.
on your head or in your
Yeah, yeah.
head?
I no in my head, not on my head. No, I'm not quite
Okay.
ready for that. I'm kind of a wimp anyway. You kind of, I'm not. I think my wife sits for tattoos better than I do. So, but no, it was fun. I can't wait to see you guys soon. Um,
Yeah,
we definitely will see you soon.
I'm sure we'll talk on the phone between now and then.
You bet.